It's the Weather Xtreme video. This is the morning edition for Wednesday, August 19th. I'm James Spann. The weather stays wet and unsettled. Maybe some strong storms later today, and we have a tropical storm on the board in the Atlantic. So a lot of things to discuss, so let's dive in there and take a look. Here's the water vapor satellite view. Goodness, that looks like an autumn trough coming through the northern plain states. Very dynamic. Big storms in advance of that. And very cool air back behind it. Look at the numbers with 40s and 50s here in the middle of August for much of the Rockies and the northern plains. That is refreshing. But no, I don't think we see any of that. In fact, we're going to trend hotter by Friday and the weekend as we see increasing amounts of sun. That's the radar early this morning at 5:07. There was one shower in the western part of Hoover, and that was about it. But we'll see a lot of action on the radar later today. That's a watch warning map around the nation, pretty quiet, but later today we note the guys at SPC have a pretty good chunk of North Alabama with a marginal severe weather risk, mainly along and north of Interstate 59. The standard slight risk is up for parts of the Great Lakes where there's better dynamic forcing, and we could see some strong storms with the approach of that surface boundary later today and tonight. The main risk, as always, would come from a wet microburst. And then tomorrow, there's no risk. The dynamics support lifts up into Canada, and we'll see showers and storms around for sure, but organized severe weather not expected. This is the overall rain for the next 5 days, valid through Monday morning of next week, and this is suggesting amounts of about 1 inch, and we will start to trend drier by the weekend and maybe even by Friday. All right, tropical fans, this is Danny. Looks pretty disorganized. The thing got the upgrade yesterday, and now it looks kind of discombobulated there this morning. But it is certainly hanging in there. Check modeling on this. The tropical models are clustered fairly tightly. They bring it to a point really almost north of the Leeward Islands. There has been a clear adjustment to the right in modeling overnight. And here's a look at the GFS ensemble. And most of the members want to recurve this thing into the open Atlantic before reaching the Gulf, before reaching the United States. That idea is pretty plausible considering the upper air pattern. A big trough coming through and kind of setting up a weakness over the eastern U.S., and that would suggest a turn into the Atlantic is a pretty good idea. Is it locked? No. Absolutely. Again, it's too early to put out a forecast, but I think that is a very reasonable idea. Here's the official track coming from the Hurricane Center, and as you know, they make slow adjustments in their track, and I think that's wise. They ramp it up to a hurricane tomorrow and bring it to a point near the Leeward Islands early next week, but don't be shocked if they adjust that more to the right in coming advisories. So for now, if you got a beach trip planned on the Gulf Coast, or I just would not worry about this. Watch it, but don't worry about it. All right, here we go, model fans. The GFS, this is the 06Z run, valid today at 1 o'clock local time. And wow, what a powerhouse trough for summer. And we're in a soupy air mass. You talk about soupy. This is the precipitable water, and look at those values over 2 inches over a pretty good chunk of Alabama and the adjacent states. That means we could see some heavy rain at times with these showers and storms that form. But boy, what a dry air mass. Continental air coming down behind that front that is lined up, you can see there, from near St. Louis down to Amarillo this morning. And obviously, we'll expect a number of showers and storms around today. Not going to rain all day, but it could rain at any time. Deep surface low is up over the Great Lakes. This is the high-res HRRR at 6 o'clock this evening, looking very wet. And as we discussed, there might be a few strong storms involved. Tomorrow, the surface front makes it down to about Memphis. The surface low moves up into Tennessee. And again, with that being the case, we'll expect a good chance of showers and storms. Like today, not going to rain every minute of the day, but it could rain at any time, and highs stay in the 80s because of the lack of sunshine. But Friday, the GFS is introducing the idea of drier air trying to work down into the northern third of the state, with greatly reduced rain chances from Birmingham north. Still a pretty good chance of showers and storms down to the south, and that could very well be the case. That's a pretty powerful upper trough that's passing north of the state. And this is Saturday as the weekend begins. A new trough is digging down into the northern plains. And down below that, you can see there's a front. The old front is around Interstate 20. And if this is right, from Birmingham north, the weather would be relatively dry. South of Birmingham, still a chance of scattered showers and storms. And with increasing amounts of sun, we should see highs up around 90. And the same thing on Sunday. This is suggesting a pretty decent chunk of the state could be dry. So clearly the weather trending drier this weekend. And if you're north of Birmingham, the weekend could be totally dry. Monday of next week still looks pretty quiet. This is Tuesday. Any showers or storms early next week should be widely spaced. Highs will be around 90. Here's a week from today. That 594 heat is beginning to expand. And the weather here should be heating up a little bit, probably low 90s. Thank goodness we have that good soil moisture, so that'll mitigate the heat to some degree. Showers very widely spaced. And we note Danny shows up down there north of Hispaniola. This is the end of the forecast, the end of next week, Friday, August 28th, 594 heat. That'll be blazing for Chicago and Indianapolis, if this is right. And for us, that looks pretty quiet. And Danny is recurving, moving north, out to sea before affecting the United States. And again, we stress that is not locked. This could change. Nobody knows right now, but that seems to be the most reasonable idea on the table. Temperatures for the rest of this week, you can see highs in the 80s. We creep back up in the low 90s for the weekend, and the GFS is trying to show a little continental air drifting in here by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, with lows maybe in the middle 60s. But beyond that, we see highs in the low and mid 90s and lows upper 60s and low 70s as we wrap up August and start the month of September, which means we're getting close to the beginning of meteorological fall. It's it for the Weather Xtreme video this morning. We'll have notes in the blog. Next video here by 4 o'clock this afternoon. If you can't catch us this evening on the live stream of the television side, ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.